everybody. Welcome to another level design video. We're in the final project right now, and I decided to work with a couple people and make a bunch of speedrunners levels. This is a level that I started to generate by myself. What we're planning on doing is having a bunch of us work on a couple levels and then collaborate to kind of critique our own videos or critique our own levels. So here's the first level I made. As you can see, speedrunners. If you don't know speedrunners, then it's a game where you run in an infinite circle pretty much until one person is slow enough to. If we go into the playtesting mode, if someone goes outside the boundaries of the screen, like backwards wise, then they die necessarily, and then the screen shrinks, and pretty much the last person on the screen wins. And that's the loop for speedrunners. So every map is in sort of just a circle, with different obstacles and pathways for people to choose to try and trip up the other players. So if we look at this level that I made, you'll see it also goes in a circle. But there's different pathways to take. And I suppose the first thing I want to talk about is this starting section. All the players will start right here in this start thing. And they have the option to either just take the straight path across or do a little aerial thing. And the cool thing about speedrunners is that it rewards players for every path they take. In an not an unfair way, so a fair way. I noticed while playing a lot of levels that generally the paths that take longer to run will have a speed boost, and that's what this thing right here is. That's a speed boost. It gives you boost that you can just run faster, and these things are items. So I noticed that they'll either reward players using the more tactical routes with boosts or items, or the longer routes with boosts. So you're never completely out of the race. So that's kind of mirrored here with this right here, and right there, and also a couple here. I really want to rework the items and power-ups up here because I just haven't tested it enough. So this top section is the section that I haven't really tested the most. But this bottom section, if we go back to that, was originally going to be the top section. In the drawing I had, there's a level that's made that kind of has this sort of flow where you can take just a straight path across the bottom, or you could take the top route, and that'll give you more benefits. So I kind of wanted to reimagine that into what I have here. And if this entire section was at the top of the level, so if we did that section and had to progress downwards, there'd really be no benefit to taking the top route. And if we zoom in a little bit here, I can show you what the top route does. This is my guy. Cool thing in the speedrunners editor is that you can just move around inside of it. So when you hit this switch, it blocks that natural path straight across. So they just have to take a minor detour, and they have a speed boost, so they're not completely out of the race, like I was saying earlier. But if the flow of the map were to what I found was that the flow of the map, if it were to go downward after this, there would be literally no benefit to taking this top route. So I took the top of the route and I moved it to the bottom, and this is what I have now. So there is a little bit of attraction to taking that top route. So you can mess with players that can't make that jump, and also just look cool when you're doing things, because that's half of speedrunners is looking cool. I added the crates here. These are obstacles that when you run into them, they kind of screw up with your momentum. They trip up your character. We'll see if I can. Yeah, see, he kind of falls, and that slows your momentum. And the point of speedrunners is just to maintain momentum, and get to the non-existent end as fast as possible. Pretty much just be the fastest and be the only one on screen. And I added those blocks there to just kind of be an be an obstacle. It makes the jump a little more skillful. You need to be pretty good to just dodge those blocks altogether, and it also kind of slows you down, so it gives the players who took the bottom route, the safe route, more of a chance to succeed in that safe choice. So that's why I added those blocks. So if we jump up to the top section, I really like just the grappling hook mechanic in this game. The blocks with the white across the bottom, you can grapple with your character, and you just do a swing, and it's really fun. So I really wanted the top section to have more of an aerial route, which you can see here. And like I said before, this is an area that I want to test more, to kind of balance the pros and cons of each path. I really want this final platform to be a really heavy reward, so like a boost and an item, so players are more enticed to go there. And when the game gets, when somebody dies and the screen starts to shrink, you have that option weighing on your mind. Do I take the more risky path to get this crazy reward, or do I just take the straight path right across to ensure my survivability? And that's kind of the cool part about speedrunners, is that you always have that option when the game's winding down. So that's my idea with the top section. I really want this final area to be really enticing. So that's why I want to definitely test that some more. Let's just see how it plays out. Which brings us to the final section of the loop. This sort of section was in the game before, and I really enjoy it. What happens is, if you're really good with the grappling hook, and you do this part of the route, you can essentially just grapple your way all the way down like this. And they added a feature in the game where if you do constant grappling at the perfect moment, you get like super speed. So that would be a benefit. If you could time all these grapple hooks properly, then you can just go really fast down it. And I also just really liked the feel of swinging back and forth like this to progress a level. So I really liked that just feature. So I put it in this level. I thought it was a fun way to do it. And also, as playing the normal level, the actual level that has a feature like this, I was playing a ranked match, and this part was like really contested area. Because if you just make one mistake, like if you accidentally turn back too early, too soon, where you don't fall and face the right direction, like I just did there, and instead you just kind of do something like this, where you go like that, you really mess up your chance to win. So this section is always fun. I also added in the original level, I don't remember if they did have these little corner blocks right here, but a feature in the game is if you land on a ramp like that, your character kind of zooms. Like I wasn't hitting any controls right there. They just kind of accelerate in the direction of the ramp, and that just kind of gives you see, if you go against it, then it doesn't give you that much of a boost. But if you have a lot of speed and you do it, then you go far. And that just kind of, if you mess up the swing and you still fall down, you still get kind of a speed boost. Maybe not as much as the consistent swing, because it's more fluid. But you still have a chance to get in the race, to stay in the race. And that's the cool thing about speedrunners, is there's a bunch of mechanics that even if you mess up slightly, you're still in the race, because there's a lot of mechanics that help you maintain momentum, but also break conversely. Another thing I wanted to point out was I started adding these smaller ramps to like little ledges like that, because they're easier to get up on it with a single jump, as opposed to it's better demonstrated here, I believe. If you run, you kind of catch that lip, and then you're able to smoothly transition to running on that, as opposed to let's see, like right here. If you run into that, you kind of slow your momentum down, and if you catch it wrong, you just kind of stop altogether, like that. As opposed to this one, you just catch the lip and keep going. So I started doing that to places where I want to maintain momentum. I might add a couple here. I have to test the level, see how it flows properly. Another thing I wanted to point out in particular was this item right here. If we go into the playtest mode, so this is what the camera looks like when you're in game. And if we go right here, you can see in the top left that the white thing, the grappling hook area, the grappling hook wall, is visible, but it's like just barely visible. So in order to entice players to get up there, I added an item there. I might add another power up down here, just as like this, so not every player goes up here and they're like, yeah, this is the only path logically to take. So I might do that just to balance it out, or I might just add a couple obstacles up here just to be like, maybe I shouldn't go up there. But I added the item there to illustrate that there is a grappling hook area up there, and that's what starts the aerial portion of this map, is that first grappling hook. So I really wanted to draw the attention of the players to that area. So if we go back there, you come across and you're like, oh, there's an item there. Oh, let me just swing up here. And do the rest of the level like that, and maybe eventually get there. So that's everything I wanted to point out. This is my first speedrun of this level. I'll have another one later. I think in my group we're going to try and do 2 each. But this is the first level I had. And I suppose now I'll just do a run-through of the level to show you how it goes. So enjoy.